For this Flippin Friday, I'm going to share with you some fall thrift flips that's going to cost less than your pumpkin spice latte at Starbucks. Yes, ma'am. Yes, I am. For this first thrift flip, I'm going to be using some Gourds along with some stain and wax. I picked these Gourds up at my local flea market for $3.95 and $5.95. I love the way they look, but I knew I could improve them just a little bit more. To bring out more of their natural beauty, I'm going to be using some stain. You can use stain of any color you wish. The color I'm using is Special Walnut. This is very simple to do. Just take a rag, dip it into the stain, and wipe it onto the Gourds. I applied one coat of the stain to the Gourds. I love how the stain brought out more of the chocolate brown and the orange color of the Gourds. I think it looks so beautiful. Once the Gourds were completely dry, I went ahead and added my wax. Now, you don't have to add a protectant if you don't want to, but my Gourds are going to be sitting on the front porch, so I wanted to add just a little bit more protection to them. This video is part of Flippin Friday, hosted by Jaime over at Board or Bananas. I will leave a link to Jaime's channel and the playlist in my description box. For this second flip, I'm going to be using a stool I found at my local church thrift store for $7, along with some black spray paint, some painter's tape, and the stain we used for the Gourds. The first thing I'm going to do is wrap the seat of the stool with a little bit of painter's tape and a grocery bag. And then with the power of YouTube, I am going to paint the legs black. And now we're going to turn our attention to the top of the stool. I lightly sanded the wood areas along with the seat itself. The seat was like a basket weave, so I didn't want to sand it too harshly because I didn't want to rip anything, but I did want to try to get as much paint off as I could. Once everything was sanded, I gave it all a good wipe down, and then I went in with my stain. And for our last thrift flip, I'm going to be using a wreath I found at Goodwill for $4, along with some dried florals and some dried oranges. To dry out oranges in the oven, all you're going to do is thinly slice your oranges, and then you'll want to pat them dry, getting as much of the juice out of the orange as possible. And then you'll want to line some baking sheets with foil, or you can do what I did and use a silicone pad. You're going to place all of the oranges on the sheet pan, and then you're going to preheat your oven to 200. If you're using more than one sheet pan, you'll want to rotate the sheet pans until the slices are dry, which will take about 2 to 2.5 hours, but you want to watch them very closely on the last hour because they can burn. Once they are dry, you can use them as garland, or you can do what I'm doing and just place them into a wreath. I have had these dried oranges now for 2 years. I have not had them mold. I have not had anything happen to them. I keep using them every fall and every Christmas. I'm going to remove all of the flowers that was on the wreath. And from here, I'm going to go in with my dried red eucalyptus. I found this at Hobby Lobby. I absolutely love this. It has such a great smell to it. And I'm only going to be using a minimal amount of glue. I really don't like the look of hot glue on a wreath when you're able to see all of it. To me, it kind of makes your wreath look a little cheap, so I try to use the least amount as possible. I like using these grapevine wreaths because you can just stick all your botanicals into the wreath and you don't have to use a lot of glue. When it comes to styling a wreath, I think if you hang it up to style it, you get a better sense of how everything is going to fall, because if you're having it flat on a surface, you really don't know if that's how the leaves are going to actually fall as you hang them up. So hanging it up is an easier way to get a better view of it and to know exactly how you want the leaves to fall on there, and you'll know exactly where to place your glue. This is why I like to use as little glue as possible. That way I can remove everything and reuse it for another season. I hope these fall flips motivate you to head to your local thrift store to find items that you can flip for easy and beautiful fall decor. If you are new to my channel, this is the first video you have ever seen of mine. I do everything thrifting on this channel. I like to encourage people to go to their thrift stores before they head to the big box stores. I also share a lot of thrift with me's, a lot of thrift hauls. I decorate with thrift items, and occasionally I do the Thrifting for My Subscribers giveaway where I thrift for you. If you need even more thrift flip motivation, I will leave the link to the playlist in the description box. Don't forget to visit Jaime over at Board or Bananas, and when you're there, tell her I sent you. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you at the next one.